Well, hi. Today is January 2nd, 2025, the first show of the new year. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. The last 3 months have just flown by, been kind of a whirlwind. If you go back and watch the very first episode that I did of this program, I said, I don't know what it's going to be. And to be honest, I still really don't know. I have better ideas now of what I want it to become that it's not yet. But in the meantime, we are going to just try to pass on as much quality information with a local tie as we can, because things are different depending on which market you live in. There is a media outlet, own a lot of radio stations that just sold off all of their Christian stations, and all the programming is going away. And I'm starting to see some of the people that I personally know that worked at these stations saying that they've been let go. You know, that happened at the end of the year. And my belief is what is happening in corporate media is they have lost the fact that things can be different from one market to another. Things will work different from one area to another. And to be honest with you, you can be in the same market and things will still be different. You know, I live in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Omaha, Nebraska is just to the west of the Missouri River. Things are different there than they are here. It's not opposite, but things work a little bit differently. And if a business does not understand that, they can really struggle on one side of that river or another. And I think that counts going even farther out to a different market. So for all of those folks that lost their jobs recently in the radio world, which, you know, we were talking about this not that long ago with another corporation, my heart goes out to you. And if you want to talk about how to break into doing the type of work that I'm doing now, I would love to be able to have that conversation with you. It's for me, being able to do this is using all of the same muscles that I did when I was in radio, but it is just a different delivery method. And the programming is a little different too. When I was in radio, nobody could see me. Now I have to make sure that I'm always aware that the camera is on and that people can see me. So these things are just little tiny shifts, but you still go back to the same base. And so if you'd like to talk about it, send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com, and I would love to talk with you about it. Some of the folks that help us out here on Morning Coffee include the AIM Institute, and they have a free class coming up on web development. You can find the link. It's an Eventbrite link, and you can find that in the description to this program. You click on that, go in, sign up, and you're going to find out as you're signing up, this is not just a 2-hour workshop. This is a 128-hour class, completely free. You usually don't see this type of information available to you unless you paid for a college class. So sign up, do it, and find out whether or not web development might be a new career for you. So again, thank you to the AIM Institute. Also, Just Sue Creative is the creator of my website, LosHillsMedia.com. Go take a look. We're still making changes to it, and we will continue to make changes. That is how this whole process works. Things work for a while, and then you have to make adjustments as the program changes or as the business changes, because, you know, this program is just one of the many things that we do with Los Hills Media and Podcast. But Sue Pitts did such a wonderful job building my website. I know that she could do a great job building yours as well, help you with your online media campaign. Go to justsuecreative.com and look at all of the different things that she can do for you. And while you're online, go to foxcofab.com and take a look at some of the different items that Rick Graybill with Foxco Fabrication can do with from the signs to the business cards, the metal business cards. I've shown you that one a couple of times. I still have it laying right here. That's metal. And these are just so awesome. And from the cup that is behind me, welding, you know, that's probably his bread and butter, and he's one of the best around. So if you have a company that needs some welding done, you know, get a hold of Foxco Fabrication. And we also want to say thank you to Carol Horner of Spiral of Accountability. She is the author of that book, and she is helping businesses communicate with each other better. Sometimes things can get in the way. I've experienced this myself, and we're not talking the same language. And even though everybody might be speaking English or whatever language it is, we're not truly communicating with each other. And Spiral of Accountability can help you overcome that. So go to spiralofaccountability.com, pick up a copy of the book, learn more about Carol Horner and how she can help your business. I have been debating on what kind of show to do today, and it was actually kind of decided for me, even though I still made the decision, that I ran across an old article, which is a blog that is put out by Tandem Works in Council Bluffs. And this particular one goes back about a year and a half, according to the date that I'm looking at here online. It was first released June 21st, 2023. And the two ladies that own this business, Michaela Clark and Vivian Kavam, Michaela Clark is, she's very open about the fact that she has ADHD. And I found out recently in the last few years that I do as well. And she wrote a blog called 11 Tips for Success When You Have ADHD. And I think the first thing is, which is not part of this, is just to own it. If this is something that you've been diagnosed with, I took a while to come to grips with the fact that I just thought that, I was scatterbrained or, I just had difficulty concentrating. I didn't realize what was truly going on. And she wrote a blog, as I said, how do I manage my business and life with ADHD? And I thought we'd just kind of go through these 11 tips, and I tell you what she said, and I would also tell you some of the different things that I have done. A lot of these things I do, some of them I don't know that really apply to me, but I'm still going to explore them more and see whether or not they can be a benefit. One of these, and the number one on our list, is called calendar and accountability. And this is a big one for me. And I've known this for a long time, that if I make an appointment, it has to immediately go into my calendar. And, I have a phone addiction, which a lot of us do. I can get caught up in the doom scrolling, but so my phone is usually on me. But if I make an appointment, I have to instantly open up the calendar and I put it into my calendar and block off that time. It also has an alert 24 hours ahead, 1 hour ahead, and 10 minutes ahead to make sure that I'm going to be reminded of what that appointment is. And it has been a huge, huge help because so many things were falling through the cracks. So that one definitely applies to my life. Her number two tip is to slow down and explain and give permission. And here's what she's talking about. And if you let folks around you know that this is something that you deal with, because sometimes I have been accused, and truthfully accused, of going too fast, of jumping around one idea to another. And, I call it my squirrel brain. I didn't invent that. A lot of folks have called it that, but let folks know that that might be something that's going on, and they can say, hey, calm down, just slow down just for a minute. And that'll pull me out of it. Because one of the things that happens is I have a lot of ideas that are constantly coming into my head, and I mistakenly think that if I don't get them out immediately, they're gone. And that is one of the problems that I have with procrastination, is because it's not that I don't want to do what it is that I need to do. It's that I can sometimes think that something else has to be done first, so I'm not thinking about it anymore. And that way I can concentrate on what it is that I need to get done. That's a lie that I tell myself, because once I finish that thing, something else is going to pop in, and what I truly needed to do is just going to keep getting pushed back. So that is what comes to mind when she mentions slow down and explain. Her number 3 tip on her list is focus on the good, not what you're not. And I'm just going to read to you what it is that Michaela says. It says she does well under pressure with deadlines and time limits. Boy, that is so me. I am so much better and so much more focused when I have a very hard deadline. It's what made me good at radio, because if I'm doing a live radio show, it's just one deadline after another. The song is ending. I have to say something. I have to play a commercial. I have to move on to the next element. It's just one constant stream of deadlines. And that's what made me good at it. However, it also is what makes me bad at setting long-term goals. And that's what she talks about. 90 days for her is too long. She's more of a 30-day kind of goal setter. And then she just kind of goes into spurts. And then she talks about some of the different things with being a mom and with her kids and how that ties into that. But the I can really relate to the deadline part of it and with the time limits. Also, she said her number 4 is define systems and burn them into your soul. Conquer one system at a time. And here's a story that she says, and I can relate to this so much, of how many times she's had to turn around after dropping her daughter off at daycare to go home because she forgot something. I forget things all the time. Sometimes I forget things that I was just told 5 minutes ago. And it's not that I'm not paying attention. It's that my brain is just all over the place. And typically, I'm going to jump off topic here for just a second, but not really. One of the problems, one of the reasons that this can happen is because if I'm eating things that I shouldn't eat, I have to be very strict with my diet because things with a lot of preservatives, things with a lot of carbohydrates, I'm kind of gluten insensitive now. Yes, I've become one of those guys that can't eat a sandwich. If I eat those things, my brain is bouncing around a whole lot more than it is if I eat very, very clean. So anyway, what she says is that she puts reminders, such as if she knows that she has a bag that she has to take, she puts it right by the door so she'll almost have to trip over it. I do that. There's things that as I think about it, if I know I'm going to be leaving and I have to take with me, it goes right next to the door. And in fact, I put it in a place that I can't open the door without moving it and picking it up. Other things I've got drilled into my system now, and it's become a very, very strong habit, such as I don't leave without my wallet, without my keys, and without my phone. And that is, I check that before I ever walk out the door, and it's become part of me. So that part has been drilled in, but there's so many other things that haven't. She also talks about a task manager and a paper list. Tandem Works uses Asana. I have worked with Tandem Works for a number of years, so I know that there are times that I've been on this thing with them as well. And that's the something that works for them. But find a way to be able to get these things out of your mind. And sometimes it is just down on paper. I have started doing this. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not real good at it yet, but I'm trying to, at the end of my day, to make out my to-do list for the next day, because it's just kind of a brain dump and I can get everything out of my mind and then I can relax for the night knowing that that's going to be there. However, I'm not really good at that yet. This is something that I'm still working on. Here's one that she mentions that I've never really had a problem with this. She says, buy a label gun because it's a visual reminder that things do not go here, about putting things away. And yeah, I can relate to that. I'm starting to think maybe this is something that I should do. I've got stuff laying around all over. Here, take a look. I'm going to actually just show you some things that you typically can't see because I'm sitting at a desk right now. Here is a wireless microphone. Here is another wireless microphone. I have, of course, the business card. I have other people's business card. Here's one that I was received from O Cookie O's. By the way, great product. I love that thing. Here's a business card from Kim, a friend of mine. Here is a empty box that has a wireless charger, and this is sitting on my desk. These are things, it's just clutter, and it takes me out of my game. And these are the things that I need to get taken care of. So that buy a label gun, yeah, that kind of speaks to me a little bit, and I need to give that a lot more credence. Her number 7 on the list is get out of your inbox. And what she's talking about is not just being constantly available to your email. And boy, I don't know how to break this habit, but I'm going to try, because in my mind, I think if I don't return an email immediately, or if I don't return a text immediately, that person is going to think that I don't care or that I'm ignoring them, and they're going to just go on to the next person if it has to do with a product or a service that I offer. It's not true, but that's what's in my head. So what she does is has set times to check her email, and that's it. She's not jumping in there other than that. So that would be a good thing to be able to incorporate into my life, I believe. Number 8 is entitled Rabbit Holes. And this is something that Michaela and Vivian work on together, that if Vivian sends her something, say, hey, this has a danger of being a rabbit hole. So take a look at this, but understand that that's what could happen going into it. And I think that is huge if you have somebody in your life that can be a benefit to you that way, because it's a reminder before you start that you need to be aware that it can happen. And that's a big part of this, that trying to remember what can happen to you and going down these rabbit holes or the doom scrolling or anything else like that, you can just lose track of all kinds of time. And that's her number 9 thing on her list, is time perception. She has a false sense of time. I do too. I think that have less time than I do sometimes. Other times it just doesn't occur to me and things just get past. I hook up with, now that we have the phones that have GPS on them and you can plug it into Google Maps or, Waze or any of the other apps that work. Even if I know where I'm going, I still use it because I find a comfort in being able to see the time when I know that I'm going to be arriving. And plus it tells me ahead of time if there's some traffic coming up that it senses or things like that. So I still use that. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is something that I do. Number 10 is entitled Eisenhower Matrix, and I hadn't heard of this. And she says when she starts to feel overwhelmed, she'll take a stack of sticky notes and brain dump everything or every idea onto them and then categorize them into 4 different quadrants about what's important or not important, what's urgent and not urgent, and that helps her decide how it is that she wants to tackle them. That's a great tip. That's a really, really great tip, and I think that that's something that I need to get incorporated into my life, and I think it'll help. And the number 11 tip on how to deal with ADHD when you're in business, she entitles Grace, and that's to give yourself some grace, because look, not wanting to have your brain work this way doesn't mean that it won't. So just accept it, understand that it's part of who you are, and find people that will support you. And I am very, very fortunate that I have people in my life that understand that. And I've seen it in other people too that have this, and they've got folks in their life that, they understand that that's how things are. And there's, if I'm jumping around from one thing to the next, or if I forget something, it's not because I'm not paying attention, and it's not because I don't care. It's just because my brain is not zeroing in right now. So link to this particular blog is also in the description. I encourage you to roam around on Tandem Works as well. Look at their services, watch their podcast, Writing Tandem, and read their blog, subscribe to the blog. And I know that both Vivian and Michaela are wonderful, wonderful people and great assets. I'm very thankful that they're both here in Council Bluffs, and I get a chance to work with them very frequently. Also, I want to tell you about Service Master Restore by Schmader. That is Cindy Schmader. And when disaster strikes, Cindy is the one that you need to get a hold of, because she can help get your life back together. And one of the biggest things is kind of put you at ease, and you can know that, right, something bad has happened. It could be a flood, could be a fire, but there's a path to make you whole again as far as restoring some of these items and finding out. She'll let you know if something can be restored or if it's just passed, or she may even tell you that we're going to give this a shot, but I can't promise that it'll come back. So she'll let you know exactly what's going on with that. And you can see the website. It's been on the scroll that's been going by several times. So if you need to go back and just rewind this a little bit and get to that, it's a longer address, but it will take you directly to Cindy's website. So that's why that's there. And George Ivanoff with The Best Wrestler would love to talk to you and your young person if they have an interest in wrestling. And if you're either wanting to learn about the sport of wrestling and have a young person that would like to just begin their journey, or maybe they've already been doing it for a while and are trying to get to the next level. The Best Wrestler, in my opinion, one of the best wrestling clubs around. So go to thebestwrestler.com, set up an appointment, go in, take a tour, meet George, meet the staff, and find out whether or not it's right for you. I have a feeling that you'll find out pretty quickly that it is. Well, show number 1 of 2025 is in the books. Thank you so much for all of the support. I'm going to just keep saying thank you probably pretty much every show, because that's how much it is that you mean to me. I get comments. Sometimes the comments are public. Other times they're just a personal message that's sent to me. But it's just been so wonderful to get the constant feedback and the letting me know that, hey, we appreciate what it is that you're doing. You know, my goal, and has been for a long time, is to give the community that I live in an extra voice and an extra platform to be able to talk about what it is that they do. You know, because as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, what affects Council Bluffs can affect other places, but, you know, it's what we do here is specifically for this area, and things are different in Omaha. Things can even be different in some of the small towns that are around, even though they're in Pottawatomie County. You have to look at things a little bit differently, and who better to know about these than the small businesses and the service organizations and the nonprofits, and that's who we're giving a voice to here with that. So keep the positive comments coming. If you have any suggestions of things that you would like to see, always happy for that feedback as well. Would love to be able to talk with you if you have a nonprofit or a service organization, and we can have you on the show and you can talk more about what it is that you're doing for the area. That's going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday. One more day to go until the end of the week, and I am looking forward to it. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.